welcome back. So this is a recap of today's Extremely Open Science, the Sardine stream. And this will be the last stream for a while because we're going to go on break for July. And we're going to go on break for July. I think I've showed this before, but let me just show you really quick, because in July I have a bunch of travel. So if you happen to be, in Brisbane, Australia, Montreal, or San Francisco, yeah, please just give us, just let's get coffee, let's talk about science. But Sardine itself, the project, will be a little bit on pause during that time. However, before we go on break, I just want to show you what we did today. So this is where we are. Let me start with recap of a recap. So last week, last week we worked on this length by KO, which we finished this week. So I just need a little bit here magic. So what we did is, everything here we already had last week, except I've cleaned up a little bit. So last week we were only working with the E. coli. Now you can see I've turned this into a loop, but we load the outputs of checkm2, had to adapt a little bit, and then we could see that if we do that, then now if we try to trace the same KO across the wild type, 100 mutations and 1000 mutations, there's sometimes a decrease. So here we've selected for the decrease, we saw this drop. And so this was the starting point of today's session. So first we cleaned up, made this into a loop, committed this code to main, because it was just, was still work in progress as of last week. And then we continued working. Let me just see, so I realized that checkm2 is using some database of KOs, so we can also get that database of KOs. So we did that. So here, data. We added this code to download this from our friends at UQ across the river at ACE, and now, and this is still in the work in progress branch. This is the same I showed you before, so the same imports. Same imports, the same sort of heading there. And then this is new. So we can parse this file and get, let me just show you what the file looks like before. So the file looks, so you can see it uses the same format as, right? Because I believe that this is the reference that checkm2 is using. So, the uniref ID tilde the KO, and then the sequence, and just do note that this is an amino acid sequence, right? So we're going to have to multiply by 3 to compare to the nucleotide length, right? So let's just get the, and then, so some of these KOs we have many copies, and some of them we don't. So for example, this one in particular, there's a single K14178, but there's over 100 of K17985, and some of them have thousands of copies. So we can use that as a reference for how long should they be, right? So let's just see. So let me just run over E. coli. So again, let's just load the data. So this is everything as before. Load the data. So this is what we had before, showing you everything, right? But now, first of all, let's just get the number of KOs, or the number of genes with that KO in the database, and then we can use the database to give us some sort of percentile. Right? So here, so if we have at least 100 sequences, otherwise, it might be a little bit flaky, so we require at least 100 sequences. Then we get the number of sizes, the number of the sizes multiplied by 3. Remember, because of this nucleotide versus amino acid business, and then we get, and this is the percentile. So let's just do this. Alright, and so you can see here's the percentile, but this is actually a good example here where it actually goes up, not very common, but you can see often it goes down, so quite dramatically sometimes, right? This is basically a medium length gene, and it goes down to 15th percentile. This one goes down to 0th percentile, basically. It's very important to note that we are here only looking at the ones that changed, but if we really only look at the ones that changed, yes, they do go down by quite a lot, right? And this is what we'll be looking at. So there's a couple of things here that are still very important to note. So first of all, really these are the only ones that change size. So if we look at all of them, the signal is actually not visible because this is only the 10%, and in the real data we wouldn't know which 10%, right? We would only know some sizes. So, and the other thing is, and this, if we look at so look, for example, I'm just going to take this one. This is the last. This happens to be a random one. Doesn't matter. But this gene, you can look at this. Oh yeah, this gene should have 900-ish nucleotides. But the first few are these partial genes. So this database is UniRef 100. So it's not the best database. Actually, the best database for this is probably the GMGC, so the Global Microbial Gene Catalog. And so that's what we'll be doing next time. So that's going to be next week. It's going to be in August. We'll try to do the same thing, but using the GMGC. I also like it because, part of the motivation for doing this is that we want to dog food our own projects, and so because dog fooding, and I have this other manuscript which I'm going to just quickly highlight. This dog fooding is one of our principles is that we eat our own dog food, so we try our own methods as well. So we're going to be using that. So we're going to be using that next week and next month, to try to understand. And we can only focus on the complete genes, and that will probably give us a much better database. It's also prokaryotic specific, whereas this database has some eukaryotic genes with some fluke genes in there. And so fluke as in the little worm, not fluke as in a lucky or unlucky thing. And so we'll be looking into that. Probably that will be much better reference, and that we can then try to see, can we turn this, does this work? Or I think that will be enough to see, does this work? Can we turn that into something that we can go from here, although we don't have this because we don't know which ones these are. But can we go from something where we have the percentile metrics for gene sizes into an estimate of genome quality, right? So that will be it. So we will see. That's what we will look at. So everything is on GitHub. So as I said, using the work in progress branch, because I want to just highlight that normally this is still a little bit rough code. I will not be committing this for now. To subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting a couple of videos before I leave for travel as well. I still want to post a little bit about the AMP sphere, because we published that paper. I still want to post a couple of things before I leave, so I'll be doing that. To join the mailing list or the Discord server, and please stay in touch. If you happen to be in any of these cities that I will be at, I will be very, very happy to talk to you. Very, very happy to get coffee or whatever. We talk science. Otherwise, I'll see you all in August, and stay safe.